Shark Week night two, night two, night two, night two, night two. Shark WeCap. First up for night two, abandoned waters. This is all about how, since we're all on lockdown, nature is allowed to heal. Maybe. Here's hoping. So this special had some new, fresh blood for Shark Week that I'm not used to seeing, who I'm excited for. We had Lauren Meyer, a girl, which, yay, please, more girls. Please, more girls. More. And then we had Charlie Houveniers, spelled with an H-U. I looked it up. And they are out with like these like old school diver dudes. Their last name is Fox. There's two, let's see, what are they? Rodney and Andrew? Definitely Rodney, because that's a great name, Rodney Fox. So they're out with them, and they're looking around, and they're gonna check on the shark populations and see what's up. So in abandoned waters, we're in South Australia, in a place that's popular for shark diving. They want to see what's changed with the shark behavior. Are they more curious now that there's no humans around? More aggressive? Are they bored? Have they gotten into needlepoint like the rest of us? What are they doing? One of these guys threw out some slang for chum that I'm all about, which is a freshie. You got a nice freshie? And yeah, man, I got a freshie. In a fairly unfortunate turn of events, they decided that one of the new sharks they found they should name COVID. So then the rest of the special, you had to hear them calling the shark COVID, being like, well, there's COVID again. How's COVID? I was like, oh, please, let us forget. Please. Don't name the shark that. Literally like naming a shark the plague. Like, don't, poor shark. Name it Megan or something. So they're going down in the water and they're gonna tag some sharks. They got like a shark fin cam on one of them, but it fell off and they're like, oh no. So they're gonna go down and put acoustic tags on. While they're down in the cage, they lose communication with the boat. So they're 70 feet down, stuck on the bottom. Oh, well, they're not stuck. They can pull them back up, but they just can't chit chat. And then they see that the camera that fell off the shark from before is like right outside. So they start poking at it with the tagging stick, trying to get it back. And the guy's like half outside and they're like, no, get back. Everyone's fine. They got the camera, but the camera didn't have anything good on it. The water there is full of these fish that like look like they are the water. Like they kind of look like they're like mid-transformation from like the alien from Annihilation, like they're that color. So they like kind of become the ocean, and I thought that was very stressful. Like more stressful than the sharks is like the idea of like hundreds of fish that kind of create like a fake wall of that you can't see past, and they're small enough so they can go in the cage. And I don't know. I find lots of fish more stressful than one shark or two sharks. We now got our one and only big female of the night. Just one. This was mostly a night about boy sharks. But anyway, they tag a 13-foot girl named Sophie, and they put a camera on her fin so that they can track everything Sophie does, see what she's up to. She's a cam girl now. Times have changed. Money's rough. Do what you can. So it looks like the numbers of females have doubled around Neptune Island. Oh, by the way, that's where they are. Whoopsies. That's where they are. Now you know. A recap. So the ladies are thriving in lockdown. I'm thriving in lockdown. The big females are thriving in lockdown. We're all thriving in lockdown because men can't come get us in their boats and bother us. So we're having a nice time. Second show of the night was ShaqAttack. Now, last time they had Shaq on, I thought the whole thing was pretty mean-spirited because it was all about how Shaq doesn't fit in human-sized stuff. But it seems like maybe Shaq also felt that way. So Shaq made other people do this special, and he just went to the aquarium with Tristan Guttridge. So I have to remember sometimes that Shark Week isn't just for me. Children might be watching, teens. So this was definitely for them. And so I tried very hard to be kind. So the guys from Dude Perfect, they're YouTube guys, they do trick shots. They're exhausting. I mean, they're good at trick shots and they make a ton of money off Nerf products, you know, so good for them, I guess. But they're not for me. They're not for me. They're not there for me. This one isn't for me. This episode wasn't for me. There we go. I also got some guy named Mark Robes, who I guess also does YouTube things. He at least like built like a shark Iron Maiden to be sunk in the water in. He never put his arms in. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So Shaq, not wanting to deal with sharks again, because last time a little one got in his cage and he was like, nope. Shaq made other people do his special, which honestly, tip of the hat, well done with delegation there, Shaq. So Shaq sends YouTube men out into nature to deal with sharks. So Mark's whole thing is that he is supposed to like create a feeding frenzy. So he, with a bunch of reef sharks, so they put him in his weird little squatty Iron Maiden, and he's supposed to put his arms in. He's clearly supposed to have his arms in and like his legs in and be like stuck standing, but he's too scared, so he stays like curled up in a little ball because he opens a big bag of like blood over his head, like a chum bag, and all the sharks go nuts and are coming eating and they're getting under him, and so he does his thing. Congratulations. The Dude Perfect guys are supposed to be out tagging bull sharks with Neil Hammerschlag, and here is where I became invested in the episode. So recently I adopted a bull shark through the program, the shark tagging program that Dr. Neil Hammerschlag runs. So I am the proud mother of an 8-foot female bull shark that very possibly could have been trying to eat the Dude Perfect guys. And I'm so proud of her. And I wish she'd gotten one. At least one. She could have. I bet she's a good eater. My little bull shark's name is Shaliz. If you're watching, mommy loves you. Eventually, Shaq did a thing, and he swam in the aquarium. They're at the Atlanta Aquarium, which is supposed to be really cool, and I've never been, and I hope someday I get to go if humans are allowed to go places again. So Shaq gets in the water with whale sharks, which are like, it's like swimming with a sleepy cow. You're fine, Shaq. But he's very nervous from last time. He eventually relaxes. But then there's like people in the aquarium and he's becoming the exhibit. Like, Shaq, I don't know, man. You don't have to say yes to this. I bet you have a gazillion dollars. If you hate this, you're allowed to say no. Anyway, may I never have to watch Dude Perfect again. That is my wish for me. And my wish for them is that the children that like watching them throw balls and things will be shark advocates. Take your message to the children. Go, new generations, go! The third episode was Jaws Awakens, and they're back in New Zealand, and we've got Chris Fallows and Jeff Kerr and Dickie. Oh my God, Dickie Shivel in like the most he's really ever done, I feel like. I could be wrong, but like Dickie's not usually like the main guy, and he was really killing it in this. Dickie was being Dickie. Dickie Shivel is kind of like the Jack Sparrow of Shark Week in that he seems like a total mess, but he's pretty good at his job. Also, because New Zealand is very small and I guess there's like 10 people, Rhys Darby showed up and did some bits, which if all of Shark Week was just pictures of sharks and him doing bits, it would still be great. Rhys Darby's also said, I heard they had 2 penises, which were cut from the same cloth. Thanks, man. So they're there to look for a huge male shark that the last time he was seen, he measured at 18 feet, which is really, really big for a boy. And his name is Fred with a PH, so Pred. So they're there to find Pred. And previously, Pred had been seen on Fins of Fury, which I remember because I watch this too much. Anyway, sharks have very specific dorsal fin situations, so you can identify them by their markings, kind of like a fingerprint. And so they're looking, he has a pretty smooth fin, and so they're looking to see if they can find a large male shark that matches the fin shape. So Dickie built like a portable cage that he called the Black Widow, and they're like, why'd you call it that? And he's like, because I can move around like I have a bunch of legs. And they're like, all right, man. So it's like a little bell-shaped thing that you can like pick up and walk around on the seafloor. So he like comes up out of the water to be like, hi, and then shows them and then goes back into the sea from whence he came. So they think that there's been a sighting recently of Fred. Fred's like a famous shark in the area. Like everybody knows Fred. So they go to talk to a man whose name is Fluffy, because New Zealand is amazing. So there's this like guy that, when they're so rude, and the captions look like they're like translating what he's saying, even though it's just a heavy accent. And sometimes they just put question marks. A sad fact that is presented in this special that I hadn't really realized before is that the reason there aren't any big male sharks around like there used to be is because of all the overfishing and culling, and a lot of that's because of Jaws, which I love. Why are people mean? Nobody went out and killed Godzillas. So the return of giant male sharks is a sign that the shark populations are maybe returning to what they used to be, which is super exciting. So the existence of Fred is super exciting. Anyway, they're pulling out all the stops. They got a cage in the bottom that you can walk around in, and they've got another shark ruler. This is the second shark ruler, 2 nights, 2 shark rulers. This one though is shaped like a shark, so A+ for that. And they've got like a spy cam that sits on the bottom, and they're really hoping they can find Fred. At one point they're out in a boat, and the boat's getting like hit by sharks, and they're like, oh my god, it's so big, and like the little boats, it's like a little boat, they're rocking around, it's cuckoo crazy. They're just trying to get as much footage of big sharks as they can in the hopes that it's Fred. And so Chris Fallows is down in the like walk around thing again, and he gets like stuck because it's so heavy, and it's like there's like too much sea action happening, so it's hard to walk, and you're getting like blown away from the boat, and they get all these pictures, but they're not sure, and then they review the footage, and they found Fred. They found him. Fred was the one trying to knock them out of the boat. Isn't that neat? Since the last time Fred was seen, he's grown 1.5 feet, so now he's 19.5 feet, which is huge. Huge male. Do a line. So the massive size of Fred is hopefully a sign that the protections that we have for sharks are working, and there are more and more big males showing up, which is, again, like super good news, and hopefully will encourage more protection, because then we could get the shark population back to what it used to be and live in shark harmonies.